Hello, my name is Dan Blinman, and I created a website called Fishing with AI so that I could demonstrate just how much more powerful Google Ads have become over the past year thanks to huge advances in artificial intelligence. You may be seeing this video because I'm retargeting everybody who reached page 2 of Fishing with AI. If you didn't make it all the way to the end of that website and enter your email, then you'll be retargeted with different ads like these, depending on which page it was that you got bored of listening to me. I believe that a smart retargeting strategy like this is what sets apart the serious business owners from the ones who are just playing around. I know that it's definitely reflected in the amount of money that you make from your ads anyway. Now, if you give me just a few minutes here, I'm going to show you how it's possible to get a 10x return with these smartly placed Google retargeting ads when you place them on websites like YouTube, New York Times, and CNN, just to name a few. It's going to be pretty useful for you if you are worried about rising ad costs. The thing that's different about these ads is that people really take notice of them when you do it right. Everybody is running retargeting on Facebook, but not so much on Google. It's very rare that businesses run these ads effectively. So, when you do, your prospects take notice and it dramatically changes their perception of your brand. And then what happens is people just start to see your business differently. You stand out from your competition. Now, before we get into the details here, let's take a step back and take a look at exactly why these ads are becoming so important. So it's been over a decade since Facebook ads first launched, and almost 2 decades since Google ads launched. Facebook ads launched in 2007, Google ads was 2000. Now, of course, we know that these ad networks are deliberately set up to act like an auction. The more people that are interested in buying traffic from these networks, the more expensive it becomes. And since these networks have existed for many years, marketers and business owners have had a lot of time to spread the word about them. The result? There are a lot of people fighting over the same traffic, and so it's more expensive now. You may have heard of a few business owners that are unable to run traffic anymore because the costs are too high. I know I have. I even personally know some that have changed their industry, change the industry that they are in because of this. They are choosing to serve a market that now is not right for them simply because the costs are cheaper in that particular industry. And others are simply choosing to close their business down altogether, all because this problem of rising ad costs became too much for them. But do they really need to close their doors? For every person that is unable to deal with the rise in ad costs, there is another that is thriving in this environment. They welcome this new ever-changing environment and take on the challenge and the necessary steps to overcome it. This is the kind of person that I want to emulate. And so, why is it that some advertisers are still around while others are not? Now, I believe it comes down to how they treat their lead flow. Rather than carefully nurturing the leads that come through their funnel, instead they show little respect for the money that they invested to get them there. And when they're faced with this dilemma of rising ad costs, some are choosing to simply ride that wave. They change nothing in the way that they market. I like to call it the sledgehammer approach. Essentially, they get married to whatever lead magnet or funnel that brought them business in the past, and when the costs go up, they simply take out their sledgehammer, ram new leads through their funnel, and hope for the best. But because of the higher ad costs, they are not profiting as much as they did in the past. In fact, they're barely breaking even. And so their business comes to a total standstill. They have to start firing people, they lose confidence in their product, they lose momentum, and their competitors swoop in and take over. I believe that we're going to see a lot of people facing this issue over the next year because there is a lot of momentum behind the increase in ad costs. New advertisers are flooding in every day, so the ad costs are not about to decrease. So really, we need to develop strategies to counter this. Specifically, I believe we need to do more, and be seen more by our leads, customers, and prospects, and carve a specific path that our leads will take, indoctrinating them so that they get value from us at specific times using smartly placed retargeting ads. So what does this mean exactly? Well, in short, Rather than shoving more money into the front of our funnel, why don't we take a portion of our ad spend and invest it into different types of retargeting so that our prospects are given the care that they deserve, but more importantly, the attention that they need in order to trust us enough to pull the trigger and buy from us? Leads are going to cost more next year than this year, that is a given. So our best reaction is to do a better job of converting our leads into customers, and we can do this through smart Google retargeting campaigns. Now what I'm going to do here is walk you through our retargeting system here called Triangular Google Retargeting. But before I go ahead and do that, who am I and why should you listen? So, as I said, my name is Dan Blimman and I've been building Google campaigns since I was a kid. I was 16 years old when my mum started teaching me how to build these ads, and I was 17 when I went to work for her at her marketing agency. A huge part of my success with Google Ads is down to her. She's built and sold a marketing agency in the past, and she was one of the first people to start properly teaching Google Ads to small businesses in the UK back in 2007. You can see some of her older marketing here and her DVD there that was filmed back in 2008. So over the past decade, I've had the best education possible, and our family's super nerdy when it comes to business and marketing. And it was 8 years ago when I took what I learned from her and branched out onto my own to start running marketing campaigns for other businesses. And since then, I've personally managed over £2 million in Google Ads across Google Search, Display, and YouTube. And actually, this skill set I'm about to teach you has given me the freedom to travel the world. I live in Thailand because, of course, the very nature of paid media means that we are creating systems to do the heavy lifting for us. It really doesn't matter where I am in the world, I can continue to run my business because I can set up Google Ads from anywhere. Anyway, let's get into the methodology here. So, Triangular Google Retargeting is a three-pronged attack involving Gmail, Google Display Image, and Google Display text ads. So you may have heard the old marketing adage which says that people need to be exposed to a brand 7 times before they are ready to pull the trigger and buy. So this method systematically speeds up that process of exposing our brand to them so that they are actually getting hit from multiple angles, and we're able to do this far cheaper than other forms of marketing. So if you're paying $3 to acquire a lead, there's absolutely no reason why you can't expose that same lead to Triangular Google Retargeting without it costing you another $3. When running retargeting, costs are naturally cheaper because we are targeting a warmer audience that know about us and are therefore more receptive to our marketing, which reduces the costs. For us, Gmail clicks are often 20 cent, GDN image is 90 cent, and GDN text is around 50 cent. And of course, those are our costs, and yours will vary depending on your ad creative, how receptive your audience are, and the industry that you're in. But hopefully you can start to see why this method is so powerful. We're hitting our prospects from so many angles that they have no choice but to buy. At the center of this triangle here as well, you can see that all of these ads are sending our prospects to some kind of proof. Whether that's in the form of a case study, a blog post, or a sales page, doesn't really matter. Proof is the most powerful force in our marketing, and so it's important that you take the time to acquire testimonials from your customers and to make sure that those testimonials are compelling. But of course, proof doesn't have to just be a testimonial. You could also prove you know what you're talking about by simply showing your product's process or methodology, just like I'm doing right now. So we've just scratched the surface here of our method. We actually have a 4-step process on the following page that you can use to help you build out these ads. So if you want to improve the shut rate and the close ratio on your sales calls and plug the cash drainage that's going on in your ad spend and convert those leads that were on the fence that almost bought from you, then I suggest you go ahead and check that out. So go ahead and click the link somewhere around this video, or you can do a search for fishingwithai.com/triangular Google retargeting to find it. I'll speak to you more when you get there. This was Dan Limman from Fishing with AI.